The fake online community. This happened about 3 years ago when I was 18. My housemate and best friend at the time, we'll call him R, was browsing Facebook when he came across a profile with his picture and a name that was not his. He noticed this fake profile had stated they were from our area, Australia, and was in a relationship with some girl from America. We'll call her J. So R decides to add J and tell her that he was the real person from the picture and that she was in an online relationship with a fake profile. J doesn't quite believe R because the fake profile had more friends than R and somehow seemed more legitimate. So he offers to video chat with her to prove it. They get on Skype with each other and she is shocked to find out she was being catfished by this fake profile. I was home at the time, and R calls me over while he's still on Skype. As soon as Jay sees me, her face goes pale, and she sends a link through to another fake profile with my picture. Apparently, mine and R's fakes were previously engaged with 2 children. Upon doing some further research, we discovered some scary stuff. We found about 20 more fake profiles, all of our close friends and extended group of friends. All of these profiles were active and were posting the exact same statuses as we all were. It was like a fake community of all of our friends. They all interacted with each other and posted regularly, copying and pasting every single one of our statuses to post on their profiles. We thought this was really weird, but the most frightening part was that they knew exactly where we were at all times, even if we hadn't posted about it. Me and R went to Dream World one day, hadn't posted about it, hadn't told anyone we were going, and there, on our fake profiles, was a status saying how much fun we were having, tagged at Dream World. That was just one example of the several creepy statuses posted about our location. It was then that we realized that whoever this person was following us. This continued for a few weeks. We tried calling the police, but predictably, they couldn't do anything. We tried in vain to contact Facebook and then get the profiles deleted. We started to get scared and tried to work out who this person was. They had to have most of us as friends on Facebook because a lot of us were private, and they couldn't have seen our statuses unless they were friends with us. No luck. We couldn't work out who it was. We were terrified. This person was following us and posting our whereabouts when we had told no one. One day, it all just stopped. The profiles were gone. We never figured out who it was, and the whole thing remains unsolved. It was a really weird experience for the both of us. Online boyfriend. Okay, so I promised a few people I would try and post up the story of my stalker. And I finally got it all down and in order, as best as I can remember. So me, being 16-year-old female growing up in a sheltered household, I was a nerd and still am, so I did a lot of online roleplay because I found it a great outlet for my writing and I really enjoyed the people. On one forum, I met a guy named John. John and I had a lot of fun with our roleplaying and eventually, our characters ended up together, which brought on real feelings from me and him. He told me he was 17 and was going to high school in Washington, while I lived in California. We would talk for hours online, messaging one another, sending pics back and forth. Things took a step up when he asked me to go on to video chat with him one day to prove I was a girl. This was brought on because we found out one of the more sexual roleplayers who cybered a lot, having sexual roleplay, turned out that they were not a girl but actually a dude. Seeing as I trusted John, I agreed and got on cam. He didn't have a camera, claiming he used a family computer and couldn't convince his parents the need for one. My older brother was in the military at the time, so we had one to video chat with him. Then, being on camera with him became a regular thing, just me sitting there on camera and him typing back. That's when he started to ask me to do more sexual things. It started out with a simple, "Give me your best sexy look," or "Bite your lower lip." I thought it was harmless flirting and complied like an idiot. He would tell me he was falling for me and I was beautiful, and me being a teen girl with image issues fell for every single line. We became boyfriend and girlfriend, as much as you can with someone you've never met. I was so desperate to make him happy and keep him around because I had 2 boyfriends previously, and both ended with heartache on both sides of the coin. So I was lonely. So when he started asking me to do more sexual things on camera, and I hesitated, he would always use the line, "I thought you loved me." And I'd cave. For a long time I felt ashamed of myself and dirty. Now, I just feel stupid. He would send me pictures of his penis via well-placed digital camera angles that never showed his face that he would upload an email to me. It made me uncomfortable, but I wasn't going to make him angry and tell him to stop because I thought I needed him. Then, things got worse. We texted a lot back and forth, but when I wouldn't text him back right away, he would stop bombarding me with messages of why I hated him and why I wouldn't answer, and claims of me cheating on him. It was overstressing me so much that I finally caved and told one of my female friends about it, and she told me that his behavior was abusive and that I should go tell him to knock it off or break up with him. So I did. The next time he went off on me, I told him, "I'm not okay with you emotionally manipulating me, so either stop doing it or we're done." And he lost his shit. Started cussing up a storm, calling me names, saying I was a horrible person. So I told him, we were over. I cried for like 2 days, which is forever in teen girl time. It hurt, but my friend consoled me and told me it was for the best and that I'd move on to something healthy. He started to message me every time I got online. His messages ranged from calling me names to begging me to take him back because he loved me. I finally blocked him and left the foreign game where I first met him. He would make a new Yahoo account and message me again and again with the same shit. Then he started telling me he was now suicidal because of me, and I should feel sorry that he was going to kill himself. Because I'm a nice person, I fell for it. We talked for hours via text, and I took him back if he promised to not hurt himself. He said he wouldn't hurt himself if he could see me again online. So I got on cam with him. Then he told me to do sexual things for him, and I tried to say no, but he said if I cared about him, I would do it, or he was going to slit his wrist. My friend's words popped back into my head. "You're a good girl, and you deserve someone who isn't going to manipulate you." I told him no, to fuck off and not message me anymore. I blocked him, made a new account for myself, made a new email for myself, and thought it was done. Fast forward about 2 weeks. I had not heard anything from him for the past 2 weeks. No text or email or anything. I thought I was in the clear and done with him. One day after school, I was waiting by the bus stop in front of the school to head home. I wasn't alone, but in a crowd of classmates and friends as we waited. Suddenly, a brown sedan pulled up, and a man in his mid-20s stepped out of the car and started saying my name. I looked around because A, I was in a crowd of people, and B, my first name is very common, so I thought maybe he was talking to someone else. That's when he walked straight up to me and grabbed me very roughly by the shoulders and started pulling me towards his car. I screamed for him to let me go, but his fingers were like iron. Luckily, the other students around took action, and some of the guys rushed the dude and tackled him to the ground, while some others went and got our school police officer. He kept screaming my name and telling them to let him go and that he was my boyfriend. I was stunned, to say the least. The cops came and put him in cuffs. Apparently, this man was John. He lied to me about his age and where he was from. He had tracked me down to what school I went to, which he discovered from a school sweater I wore one day on the webcam. The cops searched his car and found rope, duct tape, sleeping pills, and some woman's clothing, and a big fucking knife. After the investigation, my parents told me what his plan was from his testimony. He was going to take me away, and we were going to get married and be happy. It still makes me shiver to this day. I've kicked myself for years over how stupid I was to give this person I knew nothing about information about me, as well as let him manipulate me into doing what I did on camera. He had a record, from what my mom told me, that he raped a girl when he was 19 and she was 14. The last time I saw him was when the cops took him away, and he just kept staring at me from the back of the police car, crying. So, John, let's not ever meet again. I had a fake me tailing me for 6 months. Reposting, as I may have broke a rule or two the first time round. I'm usually a lurker, but reading a story on here about an AIM creeper reminded me of a situation when I was about 15. I am 25 now. Around 13 years of age, I became addicted to instant messaging, usually MSN or the chat rooms on Winmix. I wasn't friendless or weird, but I just preferred communicating with people online, which often led to striking up online long-distance friendships. Most of the time, it was completely harmless, but looking back on some of the conversations I had with people older than me leaves me feeling I was a bit naive. But this encounter was a little bit different. At age 15, I had my regulars I talked to, and one of them was my real-life friend, John, who knew my family quite well. I'm female, he's male. I had dated him when I was younger, but dated in the form of no physical touching, and he dumped me over MSN. The closest we ever got to intimacy was me taking a topless photo of myself for him, but never sending it because I was, rightfully so, chicken. It was weird for a while, but we eventually became best friends. One day after I'd signed in, John began talking to me as though we had already been partway through a conversation. I asked what he was on about, which confused him as he had supposedly just been talking to me. He copied and pasted the conversation from before I had signed in. From my account, someone had been talking to him, using my distinct tone of writing, punctuation, words, and emojis. I panicked, called John, explained that it wasn't me he had been talking to. We both didn't know what to do, so we just hoped it wouldn't happen again and ignored it. Maybe a week or two later, the same thing happened again, and again, and then it started happening with multiple people. This fake me was having conversations with people I talked to most on my account, from my own account, and they had absolutely no idea it was not me. I'm assuming this person could read my conversations and had been mimicking me. John and I decided it would be a good idea to create a new account and re-add the people I was closest with and ditch the rest. It worked for a little while, but I think the fake me must have realized I had switched accounts because not long after that, the same thing started happening to my new account. Again, I created new accounts, and this person somehow kept getting into them. I didn't want to tell my parents, as I thought they might take away my internet access, and at the time, the thought of that made me sick. So I decided on a different tactic. Instead of trying to escape the fake me by creating different accounts, I quickly added my old account once I made a new one. I had no idea what this was meant to achieve. I think I was more curious at this point because I didn't see any danger. Everyone I had added knew what was happening by now, and fake me hadn't done any damage just by talking to people. Anyways, I ended up in the conversation with fake me. I can't remember the details, but it was actually really amusing to start off with. I was pretty witty, and I think I was entertaining to fake me because we got into banter, held conversations, and whatever else. Fake me stopped getting into my new account and instead just focused on talking to me. All this carried on for possibly close to half a year. Towards the end of it, I was 16 now. I began seeing a guy, Luke, who was a few years older than me. Fake me took an interest in this and began targeting my conversations with him instead. It got to the point where he would actually stop talking to me and be talking to fake me instead, despite knowing it wasn't me he was talking to. This annoyed me, so with the help of John, we decided to try and cut off my old accounts by using a different computer, as we were assuming she was getting into my account via keylogging or something. So John brought his laptop around, I created a new account and changed all the passwords on my old accounts. He left the laptop with me for a couple of days so I could use it, and shortly into those few days, fake me managed to get into my damn account again. At this point, I realized it was a much more serious issue. Fake me could get onto any computer connected to our internet, and it suddenly wasn't amusing anymore. I apologized profusely to John. Luckily, fake me didn't touch any of his stuff. I think I lost it a bit and abused fake me. By a little, I mean swearing, crying, generally carrying on like an idiot because we all know that internet bullies react so well to that kind of behavior. After my outburst, fake me turned malicious. Fake me started locking me out of my accounts this time, started harassing my friends more, pretending to be me and abusing them. Some fake me flirted really graphically with. I still didn't tell my parents for fear of them removing my internet access and losing my precious chat rooms. It all came to a head when fake me found the previously mentioned naked picture of me and sent it to all my contacts. I had completely forgotten about it and must have left a copy on my hard drive. Luckily, I didn't have many contacts due to losing most of my ever-changing accounts. But still, it was horrible and had me feeling ashamed. I know I shouldn't have taken the photo in the first damn place, but for it to be sent around without my knowledge left me feeling absolutely sick. Lord knows where that photo has ended up on the internet. At this point, John decided to take things into his own hands and told my dad. He left a part of the photo out, but the rest was detailed. My laptop was taken away, the cable for the household computer was hidden, and I couldn't use it unless I was being supervised. I don't know what he did about securing our network, but it never happened again after that. I was stupid and blamed John for telling my dad, but in reality, he did what I should have done from the start. I put my family at risk because I couldn't deal with not having my chat rooms anymore.